What is going on, guys, and welcome to my GBA draft analysis video. This is essentially just going to be a video showing you guys what my team is for the GBA this season, and I'm going to kind of, just discuss the reasons why I drafted some of the Pokemon. It's going to go in order, and the one thing you have to keep in mind is I was actually the last person to pick, so I was, I believe, 16th. So, yeah, without any further ado, let's go ahead and show you guys the Sacramento Seakings for GBA Season 5. Fuck yeah. Alright, so my first pick was actually Clefable. So there's a couple reasons why I drafted this thing. Obviously, it's just an absolute monster. In my opinion, it's probably one of the best fairies in the game. It has really insane coverage with Fairy and Fire. It can set up Calm Minds, it can set up Cosmic Powers, it has the ability to set up Stealth Rocks. I just felt like this was a really good first pick because it's honestly a really good Pokemon to build teams around. It's really bulky. You can set a Life Orb on this bitch, and you don't have to worry about recoil damage, but you also get the attack raise. Another notable thing about Clefable is its ability Magic Guard. You can't whittle this thing down with burns or poisons, which makes it extremely useful. It can really do some damage if it's able to set up on your team. And I thought Clefable was just a really solid overall Pokemon, and I'm glad that I got this baby first round. So, yeah. Alright, you guys are going to be stoked about this next one. My round 2 pick is Slowbro. So yeah, I felt like this was a pretty obvious choice considering Paul is my motherfucking man. I had to get Paul on my team. But there's a couple reasons. Obviously, he's a really good defensive wall. He is able to make up for Clefable's weakness to steel types, so I'm able to switch into things like Heatran, stuff like that. And honestly, I love the regenerator ability. Mega Slowbro was actually taken before me, but I was like, I don't even care. I want the regular Slowbro, just because its ability is amazing. It has really good bulk. It's able to do a couple different things. It can have decent move coverage. It's able to toxic shit. It's just a menace to take care of, honestly. My first 2 picks are definitely really fat, and that's kind of a recurring theme on my team here. I got a pretty fat team, and I figured, Paul fits in real nicely here. I'm really glad I was able to get Paul. He's just so derpy and just so damn good. And I feel like he'll be able to put in some work for me. He has access to like Grass Knot, Ice Beam, Scald, all that kind of fun stuff. And part of the reason why I really wanted Slowbro was because it pairs really well with Clefable. Honestly, just having 2 Pokemon that are pretty defensive right off the bat gives me a little bit of an edge because I can start building my team kind of around these guys. And yeah, so I feel like Slowbro is definitely a good addition. I might have actually got the best 2 picks in my opinion on the first 2 rounds. So I'm really stoked about that. Slowbro is going to fit in very nicely, and he will definitely get some use. And people are going to have some trouble with this guy, for sure. For my round 3 pick, I decided to go with one of my favorite OU Pokemon, Breloom. So I wanted to scoop this guy up early before he got stolen, and I really just decided I wanted to go with Breloom, honestly, because its access to Spore makes it extremely valuable. It's one of the only Pokemon that has guaranteed sleep. It is an extreme offensive threat to a lot of teams. It has access to Technician ability, which gives increased power to moves like Mach Punch and Bullet Seed, which is extremely nice. The priority with Mach Punch will definitely come in handy. And honestly, I just think Breloom's a really cool Pokemon. It has a couple different options when running it. And not a really whole lot to say about this thing other than it's just an offensive powerhouse that I felt like works very well. There's not a lot of grass types that are able to hit as hard as Breloom. And yeah, so I just decided to go with this Mushroom Head because he is fucking awesome. And yeah. So for my 4th round pick, I decided to go with Darmanitan. And a lot of you guys know that I do use Darmanitan quite often. It's probably one of the best Pokemon in the underused tier. It hits extremely hard. There's not a lot that can take a Flare Blitz. It's a really solid wall breaker as well as a good pivot with U-turn. It hits hard with U-turn, which is extremely valuable in a GBA style league formats. And yeah, so Darmanitan, I'm really comfortable using this thing. I feel like that's a pretty big part of drafting Pokemon. It's kind of going with things that you know that you're comfortable with, and I know that Darmanitan has a really good potential. It can be Choice Scarf, it can be Choice Band, and honestly, a lot of the time, this thing will just destroy you, and it's a really fast Pokemon to have around, especially for late game, finishing things up with Flare Blitz, and I felt like it was just a really good Pokemon to pick up just so I didn't have to worry about battling against this thing, because it is an absolute threat. For my next pick, I continue the theme of offense, and I decided to go with Tornadus-T. So this is not a Pokemon that I use quite often, but I know that this thing is an absolute monster. So this thing is really nice. The main thing that stuck out to me was its ability Regenerator. I feel like having Slowbro and Tornadus on the same team really just creates a nice Regenerator core. So I'm going to be getting health back every time I switch out, giving a life orb to this thing. Every time you switch out, essentially just gets rid of the recoil, which is really nice. This thing is super fast. It has really good stats in both attack and special attack, which is really nice. It has access to knock off, stab, hurricane, and U-turn for a pivot. Overall, I think this thing is just really useful in a league format. I mean, honestly, I don't have a lot of experience in a league format, but honestly, I'm surprised that this thing made it this far into the draft, so I just kind of had to scoop this thing up. I was like, holy shit, it lasted this long. It definitely fits on my team, and it's really scary. So Tornadus is a really fast Pokemon that's able to outspeed a lot of other things. It has base 121 speed, which gives it the ability to outspeed things with base 120, which is really nice. Also, another thing is that Tornadus-T really enjoys Assault Vest due to its regenerator ability. It gets a lot of recovery from that, and it's able to take special attacks and also dish out some extreme damage. So I felt like this was a valuable Pokemon, and glad to have you on the team, buddy. Alright, next up we have Mega Sableye. So this is, I wanted to go with some more fat Pokemon. I wanted some more defense, and who better than this motherfucker? He has so much defense. He is a really good Pokemon because of its ability Magic Bounce. This enables Mega Sableye to act as a really good stall breaker. You can come in on entry hazard, stuff like that, status absorber. Honestly, no one can hit you with shit with this thing. It can stop taunt users, and it's a really good stop to a lot of other defensive Pokemon because there's not a lot that people can do to this thing. It's a really good spin blocker, so if someone's trying to use rapid spin, I can come in on that, which is pretty valuable. Yeah, it's honestly, it has really good typing. It's immune to both fighting and psychic and normal, which is really nice. It has resistance to poison. It's honestly just a really good defensive Pokemon that I feel like was pretty nice, and I needed a Mega Pokemon, so I figured I was gonna go with this thing. It's honestly, it has access to knock off, Will-O-Wisp, it just recover with the Prankster ability. And yeah, so I felt like just this thing, I've never really used it a whole lot, but it seemed like it would be pretty good, and I kind of wanted to try it out here. It seems like it would fit well on my team. So yeah, I kind of just wanted something that was going to cause problems for people. That's seeing that I have this Pokemon is going to definitely come into play when my opponents are team building for me. So I feel like it will definitely pull its own weight. Moving right along here, we have Hitmonlee. So I decided to go with this thing essentially because I have a lot of experience with Hitmonlee, and I am aware of the fact that it absolutely kicks ass. It kicks because he's fucking Hitmonlee? Okay, well, yeah, anyway, so he has access to the ability Unburden, which allows this thing to outspeed pretty much everything after a normal gem boosted fake out, which is really nice. It has the option to be a great Choice Scarfer, Choice Band. It is a really good wall breaker, and not a lot can take close combats from this thing. Honestly, I just felt like Hitmonlee would be a really good Pokemon just because of the fact that my team has a lot of bulk already, and that at this point I was looking for a Pokemon that would do well against other walls. So I feel like Hitmonlee definitely does that job, and its ability to actually have rapid spin and like knock off and stuff like that makes it really nice. So yeah, I mainly just wanted Hitmonlee because it's a really good Pokemon to include on a bunch of different varieties of teams. So essentially it can be ran a couple different ways. I could do the Unburden variants, I could do Reckless, which actually gives boosted power to Pokemon with recoil, or to attacks like recoil, like High Jump Kick, which is really nice. It gets access to Mach Punch and Sucker Punch, which is really good for priority. And overall, I just feel like, honestly, High Jump Kick is its best stab move that honestly OHKOs a lot of bulky Pokemon that even defensive Pokemon can't take no High Jump Kick from a Hitmonlee. So I figured this was a really good Pokemon. I needed some more offense. I'm just fully aware of the fact that Hitmonlee absolutely just destroys things, so I felt like it would definitely fit well on my team. For the 8th round, I decided to go with Porygon 2. So this is a Pokemon that causes a lot of problems. I'm sticking with the defensive theme on my team here. Is just really defensive if you haven't been able to tell already. But I just feel like Porygon's a really good Pokemon. With the Eviolites item, it gains just insane defenses. With its access to recover, it's really nice. You cannot whittle this thing down. It's honestly just a really scary Pokemon. It has coverage on both electric and ice. It can hit hard with Tri-Attack, toxic stuff, and Porygon was just one of those Pokemon that I didn't want to deal with on opposing teams, so I felt like it would fit well on my team. Honestly, the theme I was going for with this draft was essentially to get a whole bunch of defensive Pokemon, and depending on the matchups each week, I can kind of build a different defensive core. So if I see Porygon 2 does exceptionally well against a team that maybe doesn't have like a strong fighting type or something like that, it will be a good Pokemon to bring. And I just feel like, yeah, Porygon, I've really been a fan of these things. Over the years, Porygon 2 has just caused a lot of problems to myself, using it is just an absolute pain in the ass to people. And yeah, just Porygon 2 is fucking awesome. Not to mention, Porygon 2 gets access to one of my favorite competitive abilities, which is Trace. You can use the opponent's ability against them. In a lot of cases, that is extremely helpful. And also, Porygon has a really good move pool. Depending on my matchups, I can run a whole bunch of different attacks. It gets access to things like Toxic and Thunder Wave, and it can really just cripple a lot of teams. Next up, we have my favorite turtle, Torterra. So this thing is really nice. The thought process behind drafting Torterra was that I needed another Stealth Rocker on my team. The only thing I had at the time was Clefable, I believe, and I just felt like I needed something else. Torterra is a really good Pokemon. It has a unique typing in that it's one of the only, I think the only grass and ground type Pokemon, so that makes it really unique. It's access to things like Stealth Rock and like Wood Hammer that's able to hit really hard is super nice. You can actually also set up I think Rock Polish boost with this badass, and it really can catch a lot of teams off guard. It's one of those lower tier Pokemon that is able to carry its own weight even in a higher tier battle, so I felt like it would definitely fit in a league format for sure. So Torterra is one of those Pokemon that's able to fill a whole bunch of different roles, in that it can be like a late game sweeper, a wall breaker, it can be like a tank. A lot of the time it does get fucked up by ice moves, obviously, but I felt like I just really needed a ground type on my team, considering I didn't have one yet. And I just really like Torterra, probably one of my favorite designs, and I was like, you know what, you belong on the fucking Seakings, bro. Coming in at my second to last pick, I decided to go with Exploud. So the thought process behind getting this bad boy was that I was looking at my team, and the one thing I needed was more hard-hitting special attackers. So I decided Exploud would fit very nicely. Looking at the Pokemon that were left, Exploud seemed like the most obvious choice, considering it was one of the hardest-hitting special attackers. Stab Boom Burst with the choice specs does like 75% to even special defensive Pokemon. It's an extremely good wall breaker, and honestly just soundproof ability, even with the scrappy ability, able to hit ghost types is really nice. It has really good coverage with like Fire Blast, Focus Blast, it can even get Surf. And yeah, I just feel like Exploud is a really good Pokemon that's kind of, a lot of people don't understand this thing's true power, but I felt like it would be a really nice Pokemon. Depending on matchups, I can bring this guy if it looks like he would do very well. The only problem is that it is definitely pretty slow, but I feel like its ability to just do extreme damage to anything with the choice specs makes it pretty unique and pretty useful on the team. And finally, coming in at the last pick of the Season 5 GBA Draft, I decided to go with Claydol. So I feel like Claydol was a solid pickup, considering I don't have a lot of rapid spinners on my team, so I feel like that makes it pretty valuable. Its ability to rapid spin, get rid of those hazards. Also, it has the ability to set up dual screens, give it the light clay, and it's definitely a useful commodity on the team. I just feel like Claydol is a decent Pokemon to have around with its ability to spin and its immunity to ground and stuff like that. I feel like it's a pretty interesting Pokemon. It has the ability to hit with Earth Power, Shadow Ball, things like Psyshock. And I really just kind of like Claydol, and I wanted to see how he was going to do. I figured it was with my last pick. I was pretty happy with my team so far. And I just kind of decided to go with Claydol because why not? But yeah, anyways, that, guys, was my Season 5 GBA Pokemon League draft. And let me know in the comments what you guys think, what you would change. Let me know if you like the team. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Leave a thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed, and if you are rooting for the Seakings this season, because fuck yeah, Seakings.